What's going on, guys? Back again for another streaming session. It is Sunday, right? Sunday, fresh week. About to be, fresh new week. About to be a fresh new month. About to be a fresh new year, right? We're about to go into 2026, and this week is going to be it. New Year's week. So we know the market's going to be closed Thursday, likely half day, right? Wednesday. It's going to be a slower week. Same song and dance as last week, just for this week. So likely it's going to be low volume. So this is going to be another week where I want you guys to really just practice patience a little bit, right? If it's going to be low volume, then we're not going to be looking for puts like whatsoever. Longer day calls and chill. Like things kind of just slow melt up, right? We're seeing futures just kind of flat here overnight. And I drew the line too, right? So we're a little bit red, but kind of flat. And I just drew the line right where we're at for MNQ. Notice how up here, resistance turning to support. We're above it now. So I don't really trust any type of red at all, especially anything for SPY, because we're looking at SPY. We made new all-time highs, new intraday all-time highs on Friday, but we ended up pushing back down kind of into that range. We're squeezing here. I like this. As long as we stay above 688 zone right here, which is, this demand, as long as we stay above this area, tomorrow, likely not only they'll hold this, but they're going to shoot us into new all-time highs, especially if it's low volume. So that's another thing, we got to be kind of keeping an eye on here is, low volume. How are things kind of holding up? Stuff like that. So we don't got to rush anything tomorrow. Let's just see kind of what happens in your open. And then from there, easily kind of go from there. But cool thing about this is, above 690.83, right? We end up kind of holding down here a little bit. We hold this trend line, end up pushing. How we are pre-market, we'll know. But if we end up breaking above 690.83, we know we're going to run right back to 690.66, 691.66, which is Friday's high, and then we're going to push to 692. That's the next level up, 692. And then from there, we should run to 695 and then ultimately 698, 700. That's the main goal for SPY here, as long as it stays above, 690 area. But I like this, It is squeezing. SPY strong. I'm going to be focusing a little bit more on SPY. Just because SPY is already at all-time highs and it's going to keep pushing. Usually when it makes new all-time highs, it continues. So, we'll kind of take a look at that. Q is down 50 cents. We're just kind of in the 624, 623 zone right here. I like this. Q was lagging behind SPY a little bit all like last week. We gapped up. We held the 618, 617 demand, and you can see that like we held perfectly there those 2 days. And then when we ended up pushing up on Tuesday, I knew we were going to run to 623, 624. We perfectly ran to that zone right there. And then, of course, Friday, we opened up there, went a little bit higher, but just kind of stayed there. So that was the main, weekly target I had. And we, perfectly hit that. Now, looking at going into this week, to be honest, I'm still very bullish. They just need to hold it above 618, 617. That's where I would assume that if we end up kind of coming back down into range, like tomorrow, if we end up losing 621.75, we're just going to do a little bit of like kind of this number. Now, yes, puts could work, and I would say be faster with them. But if it's low volume, don't even bother because they're likely not going to work. We know that in this area that's shaded all the way down to that demand, and all in this area, at any point, buyers can step in and push us right back and break highs. I think the only reason why we're seeing a little bit of kind of redness here is, Tesla's down $6 here. We saw, we played Tesla Lottos puts on Friday, banked off that. I told the team, going into this next week, Tesla could drop to 470 here, has that open gap, and then ultimately 460, 457. Ideally, I would love for them to hold this gap around 460, 458 till Friday so I can play it for Lotto Friday because their contracts are juiced. But, it doesn't really matter what I think, I guess. The stock's going to do what it's going to do. And right now we're seeing it is down $6 here after hours. It is at the 469 area. So it is at this 470 target. So it's already filling that gap there. Where it opens up, that's going to be kind of the thing. So we will see. But yeah, a little bit more weakness on Tesla, end up market, kind of pulling back, whatever, then this might be the name I would rather go with instead of trying to short Spire QQ. So definitely kind of keep an eye on that. So we'll see about that. Now, I would say my top setup I'm watching going into this week is Amazon here. Now, Amazon is just flat overnight. We are squeezing here on the hourly and 4 hour, especially looking at the 4 hour. You look at these wicks from Wednesday and Friday, right? Because Thursday, holiday, market close. We can see right there, Wednesday and Friday, huge wicks on the 4 hours. That's going to tell us, not only are we holding that bottom kind of lip of this zone, these wicks are telling us the buyers are here and they're defending this nicely. So this is kind of the recipe I'm looking for on a bigger move, right? We got the blast out of this demand. We didn't catch this one. This was the only move that we did not catch this past week because we were too busy playing Google at the same day that it blasted out. We caught that easily. So kind of the same move, even though Google was a stronger mover than Amazon. But, we obviously took note of this, right? We may have missed it, but we took note of it. And we like that we are squeezing in this zone. We like how we're making kind of higher lows. We like that we're at, a pretty good inflection point here. And if we break that, then we know we're going to run to that next zone and possibly higher, 238 area, 235 for sure, but maybe 238, maybe we'll see. This was just a kind of continuation of when a downtrend broke out, a few weeks ago, early December. And, we played that all the way move up. This will just be a kind of a continuation. We'll see, but I like this. And so I'm going to be keeping an eye on this, especially if it opens up above that 233 level, right? So that's what I'm going to be looking for going into tomorrow. This is squeezing. I want to see if we open up above, that 233 level right here. If we can open up above that, you already know it's game time. Any single dips after open, slam them. They're gonna step in and just rocket us up. So, I'm going to be ready for that as well. It should be pretty good. But we'll see, right? We will see about that. I do love the setup. So I do see a play regardless. And I like it. Now, NVIDIA is green here after, overnight here. Amazon and NVIDIA are both green. Everything else is kind of slightly red. I like NVIDIA here. We banked off this twice this past week, early in the week. And then we caught the major, blast right here, which was absolutely crazy. But, I slammed calls right before close and we got that massive push. Beautiful. And yeah, that was really good. Now we rolled up the next day and I think the team was a little bit, we ended up slamming calls right here. And we kind of just didn't do anything that, Wednesday right before Christmas. And I think the team was like, oh no, like, is this going to be our only loss for the week? What's going on? What's, a little bit. And I was like, just stay patient. This is looking good on the 4 hour and the 1 hour. The move we're looking for is going to be Friday. We should get the gap up. We got the gap up and pushed to 190 191, 192. I was looking for 190, 191 in this area. We got it. Sold all out. Boom. Banger play. And yeah, and that was it. And I told the team I want to get out on that strong push up because even though we're holding like a week and a half out, like 2 weeks out, whatever it was, we still have this gap down here, and I can't get too bullish with that gap there because they could easily wick down, take it out, and then push it back up. And if they do that, I just know that if we come down, like wick down, there will be a better entry down there. So we'll take the gains, sit back and see if we end up kind of hitting that. If not, and we kind of kept pushing, then I'll be watching, break above 192.32, which is, that blue line right there. We end up breaking that. Then I know we're going to run to 193, 194, 195, usually 194, 195. So calls will work, and I'll be ready for that, especially on that structure break, flag break, easy. So NVIDIA, Amazon, watching that. I do like Tesla for the downside, but I think it's already kind of, unraveling here. So, maybe we can catch that with either TSLL, cheaper contracts, right? TSLL, which is 2 times leverage. Tesla has the same gaps open. Maybe we can catch that. Or if we just wait for Tesla Lotto Fridays, that's always a banger. So we will see about that. As far as setups, though, also I am seeing IWM. I do like IWM. We sold off the past few days until demand, held this demand on a higher time frame so far. 4 hours are holding. A lot of wicking. So buyers, it's pretty much telling me buyers are here. If we do get some type of downtrend breakout, I would like to see us break above 252.87 right there for that move up to 255. That's what I'm going to be looking for right there. And IWM cheap contracts, they move nice. And so that's what I'm going to be looking for right there. Just this shaded area move, just that move like that. So need the downtrend breakout. Nothing official yet. Keep an eye on that. I do have alerts at 252. So let me know. It will let me know once we kind of get, around there, right? Gold gapping down, massive like gap ups on gold. Gold and silver were up big time as they opened up, but now we're seeing them pulling down here in a nasty move. I'm telling you, these gap fills are going to be nasty, and I'm ready for them if we get down to it. Now, 414.75 right here. Gold is already under it. And man, it's already at this level. This is a really good, move right down into 412 area. We'll see kind of where it opens up, but there's a huge gap right here starting at 414, which it's already at, right? It's down about $2.5, $3 here. It's already kind of starting this gap. We'll see where it opens up. It's going to end around 412, has that demand right there, but it's going to be breaking uptrend structure. And I like this. If it ends up coming down, if I play this, we'll see, that puts on that. We'll see if I end up playing it. If I don't, and it comes down, I'm watching this, then I'm going to be looking for this massive move here. This is a massive gap that I will go for. So once we get kind of to it or at it, whatever, we'll see though. But we are kind of breaking that uptrend structure. So, I'll be watching this for tomorrow, especially if, if we open up where we're at right now. So, we'll see. We'll see about that. We will see about that. But again, probably not my number one pick. So we'll see. Let's look around a little bit. Meta really hasn't done anything in sideways. Microsoft is squeezing here. It is down 91 cents, so it's at 46.80. So it's kind of just in this range. Again, squeezing. I'm going to put some alerts here because I like this. I like how it's squeezing. Same thing as kind of like Amazon. We're squeezing here. It's that 49. We know if we open up above that on a higher time frame, we are blasting. And when we blast through, likely they're going to take out finally this red zone here, the supply zone that has been a monster of a resistance, all in the month of December and a little bit of November, but all just here. We end up breaking that, dude. It's going to be massive. And we might get a move all the way back up to 500, 505. There's a gap there. So it should run back to 500. I don't see why I wouldn't end up hitting this gap at 505, 504. So that will be a pretty massive move. And it's Microsoft. Come on now. So that'll pick up the market as well. So whenever Microsoft decides to go for it, it's going to be a pretty insane move there. So I saw MU, really good move off MU these, past few days. Gapped up, ended up eating that, ripped that open on that Wednesday, kind of, slow pushing up, but, not a bad mover here. I haven't really played MU like that in a while. Contracts are so juiced, and that's probably why, but not bad. Another name I wanted to look at real quick was Nike. Nike. We did see that, you know, it was that Apple CEO ended up buying, was that Tim Cook ended up buying um, some stock in Nike, which was a little random. And I know I have it on the watch list somewhere. There it is, which is interesting, but big sell off from earnings. I don't know. I like it so far. I think so. Uh, Downtrend breakout. I see it. It is still trying to push up a little bit more retail. I don't know. We'll see. If I have to force a play on it, then maybe. But if I'm forcing a play, then I'm going quantums, and I'm probably just going to short them, right, to see where they're at. I like NBIS bear flagging here, easily dropping down to that 84.49 level. So there's definitely some decent setups here outside of my realm of the names that I go for. So if I'm having trouble where I can't, find a setup, then I know I got a few of them, in my back pocket where I can scroll the watch list and be like, oh yeah, quantums are getting hit pretty hard. That could work. Or, Tesla's, can work. We'll see. So yeah, not bad. AMD is setting up for a bigger move here as well. I like this squeezing here. Big downtrend breakout with Nvidia, but ended up kind of just knifing. And then the last few days, this past week, did nothing. So it is setting up for a bigger move here. I just don't know which direction. Either way, I'm ready for it. Above 217.41, and AMD calls can work back up to 220. It ends up losing here, right? Breaks this flag, breaks that 217, runs right back up. I know calls will work beautifully, so I'll keep an eye on that. Right now, it is red a little bit after hours or overnight here. So if we end up kind of losing this flag down, I know I can trust under 212.13 for us to move right back down into this area. And I know my levels work here because the last time we were in this area was over here and we did the same exact move. So, or just looking for the move back down, just like that, then it's like just retracing right back. So nothing too crazy there. We're not looking for all-time lows, all-time highs, whatever the case may be. So pretty easy stuff right there. Yeah, but we are seeing just a little bit. Look at that. Q is only down 40 cents. Again, we're only seeing a little bit of red here. I'm not going to trust any type of red I'm seeing on SPY and Q, especially with this low volume. We see low volume like this. Don't try and short it. Sit back, longer date calls, let it melt up and win off that, take the win, and then go from there. So that's really it. We'll see. Again, not too many good setups. We are got a few names we're watching, but we're not going to, kind of push it or anything. We'll see what kind of really sets up after Monday, right? After some more movement and things like that. So we'll see about that. I'm excited. Fresh new week. So I'm excited, ready to go. And again, I'm ready to make some money. Let's make some money. I'm ready for it. I would assume, right, we get one real good solid play out this week on a good setup and then kind of just size small and just see we go from there. Again, we do have news Tuesday, Thursday, FOMC minutes, and then unemployment claims. That should do a little bit of something. But again, if it doesn't bring volume, then it's really not going to do anything. That's about it. Gold and silver, that's another thing to be watching, right? Let's see if they end up kind of sniping those dips and bringing us back. It's all about pre-market and where we kind of open up on some of these names and, where we start the week. So that's also another big thing. Got to be ready for it. But we got our setups ready. Game plans are posted for members. I tweeted out to you guys the SPY game plans. I think I wanted to go SPY game plans as the, giving y'all that for free because this is something you should be focusing on a little bit more than Q because we're at all-time highs, lower volume. It's showing the most strength. We're just going to magnet up or just melt up if it's low volume. So yes, we caught some really good plays last week, NVIDIA, Google, all that. And so we're going to keep it up and do it again this week by just waiting for our setups and, executing when it's time. So if you want my trades, wap.com/Rico Capital, get my live trades, become a member or become a top member, get my live trading, one-on-one mentoring, anything you need. RioCap AI, all that. Sign up. I got you guys. If you want to learn more about the organization, riocap.com, check it out. DM me, whatever y'all need. I got you guys. Any questions, let me know. We got some setups and it looks pretty clean. For SPY, to be honest, if we end up losing 689.70, just kind of this midpoint, again, I know we're probably going to come touch this demand, but this is going to be a very tight range, right? I don't want y'all playing puts or calls in between this unless it's, calls and demand or maybe, just buying the dip. But, we're too close to all time highs that, we're going to get that squeeze. It's just a matter of, when. Maybe some news will do it. Maybe it was just melt us up. We'll see. But again, it started slow last week, right? Monday started slow, but we ended up melting Tuesday, Wednesday, and so, keep that in mind as well, that it could be the same song and dance, exactly the same song and dance going into this next week. So nothing too crazy, right? Nothing too crazy. This is, we've got some good setups, and when they come, we'll step on it. But if there's no good setups and, our setups haven't triggered, then we're not going to push it. We're just going to say, all right, it is a holiday week. Let's wait for our setup. Let's go for it when it's our setups present ourselves. And then, no need to throw caution to the wind or do anything crazy. Let's just win, take our wins, no matter how big or small it is, and just kind of keep it pushing here. So not going to be a super intense week. We will see. But so far, just, a little bit of red here, break even overnight. I would assume this is going to go green by morning time. So we will see about that. Anyways, yes. All right. Game plans are set. Just wanted to stream on here real quick and keep it kind of quick for y'all. Got everything looking good, ready to go. And I appreciate y'all showing up. So if y'all need anything, let me know. RioCap.com. And I will see you guys out there. Stay green and let's get this week on the way. Almost 2026. So let's make it happen, guys. All right. Appreciate y'all showing up. Have a good rest of y'all's night.